Welcome to Underdog Hoops, presented by great coaches in our basketball community. From the Underdog Hoops studio in Rancho Cucamonga, California, here is your host, Sam Farrar.
Hey Coach Sam here from Underdog Hoops. In today's podcast, we are going to be talking with Jeremy Garrett in a two-part series, and he's going to go in depth on his unique coaching philosophy and style. And before we do that, we're going to go check out our sponsor, and we'll be right back. Hey,
Hey, can you hear me?
yep.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right.
All right. So this is going to start at 6 o'clock, correct?
Yeah. So, how are things out there? It's kind of, the world's kind of hectic right now.
Oh, no, I completely agree. I wish all of this Corona stuff was going away, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of ruining everything around here too. So
Ruined March Madness for me. That's my holiday, That's where nothing outside my house exists. But,
yeah.
But anyway, cool. What is this? How long is this interview going to take, by any chance?
No more than like 30 minutes probably.
Awesome. Sounds good. So is your website? I looked at it, and did you just start it, or how long have you been into this type of business? I guess you could say.
So I started it like in October, so it's fairly young still. So, but I'm getting some crowd around it, so it's good. It's going good right now.
Good deal, because I wouldn't mind sharing it on like social media, and if you have any social media accounts after this, if you'd send me those links or the usernames, or not usernames, but just the names, and I'll share them. Especially when you post the clips, so that'll help.
Yeah.
That'll help that out too. But awesome, sounds good, cool.
All right, so ready?
Oh, well, I'm ready whenever. Wait, is it?
Okay.
Wait a second. Is it It's 5 o'clock my time.
Oh, okay.
But I can do it now.
Okay. I was just looking it up on the world clock, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yep. It's 5 o'clock my time.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, I'm fine. I can do it now if you want to.
Okay. Cool.
Just whatever you want to do.
All right. So basically, I'll just ask you some questions, and you can kind of tell me how you've done things or that sort of thing. So basically, tell the audience about yourself. How, when, and where did you start coaching? And what role are you in right now?
So I'm Coach Garrett. I'm from Kentucky, and I started my coaching career pretty much. I didn't start my coaching career until I was about 21, and what I did was I did a lot of individual workouts. Nowadays, everybody wants to coach. Okay, there's a lot of people who want to become coaches or just want to do some sort of job to do with coaching. And so sometimes finding a job, especially in a state that doesn't have a lot of rural population like cities and stuff, it can sometimes be kind of hard to find those jobs. And so, what I did was I did a lot of individual workouts with players. I met coaches. I tried to participate in college camps and, to build my resume. And so eventually what I did was I got placed at a little tiny high school for my education. I'm going to be a teacher and for secondary ed. And so I got placed at a school. And at that school, I decided, hey, once I got comfortable with my teacher, my cooperating teacher, I asked if he was a basketball coach there for middle school. Hey, you need any help? Do you need any help? And once he told me, yeah, I volunteered. Okay. Any type of volunteer work that'll help you build your resume. So then when you go out and you apply to those schools, okay, to become a coach, that will help you in the long run. You can't just kind of show up and, hey, I know basketball. Okay, well, prove it. what have you done? And so that's kind of where I started out. That's when my coaching career actually legitimately took off. And I'm still very young. I'm only 24. And after that assistant job, that volunteer work at that high school was at Fulton City Independent. After I did that for about 4 or 5 months, I applied to another job over at Marshall County, Kentucky. That's where Zion Harmon's from, number 21 ranked. I think he's 21 or 24. He's in the top 25. I know that, somewhere in the 20s.
Okay.
I think he just committed to WKU, but he's in the 2021 recruiting class. And so, I applied to the middle school in Marshall County, South Marshall Middle School, and I was the 7th grade coach originally. Some things happened, and I was fortunately lucky that I got the 8th grade position. And so as I'm going to school, I started the second part of my degree. I was doing my second practicum, my extended practicum, where I'm also teaching for schooling. And so what I did was, I got placed. Luckily, I go to Murray State University. Sorry, I meant to mention that, where John Morant's from. Anyway, so I got placed at Marshall County to teach. So that was convenient for me. And so not only am I teaching, but now I just got to drive down the road and, begin practice. But now I'm thinking in my head, I've never been a head coach. Okay. I've never been a head coach. All I know is what I've studied, what I've read, what I was taught in high school. I went to high school, Webster County, Kentucky. I played under a very, very phenomenal coach. I think that a lot of people overlook him. His name is John Newton out of Webster County. But I learned a lot from him, and so how can I apply what I know? What I know to these kids that they have no idea who I am. I haven't had a head coaching job yet. So I don't have a lot of coaching experience. I have a lot of individual workout and skill development, not a lot of coaching experience. And so I made it my goal to read more videos, read more books, watch more videos, watch more college clips, and, just learn the game. And so a lot of people think that, hey, since you didn't play college basketball, do you even know how to play? A lot of businesses, I guess you could say schools, they would rather hire somebody that, has played college basketball. I haven't. Because to me, I look at basketball from a different perspective. And so that perspective is you don't have to play college basketball. You don't have to play in the NBA to coach at a college level. You don't have to. It's all about statistics. It's all about hard work. It's all about the X's and O's. It's all about the relationships with your players, not what you did in the past. And so that is what I am doing differently from a lot of coaches today. And so there will be people that will be like, hey, Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing. He's coaching, I think it's at Connecticut. I think that's where he's at now. And I'm not trying to talk. I'm just criticizing. I think he's done a phenomenal job here recently, to be honest. But there's those NBA coaches. They played not NBA coaches. They played in the NBA. Those players. Now they go straight to coaching, right after their career is over with. All right, and let's be honest. How many successful? How successful have they been at the college level? Now that you just think about that, and I just let it sit, and I have a hard time thinking of a couple. All right, but that's kind of the way I look at things. You don't have to play in the NBA or college to be a good coach. Greg Garn, perfect example. He's over at Wisconsin right now. He was an assistant coach. He didn't play in the NBA. All he did was he became an assistant, I think, at UW-Platteville in the early 90s. I think it was Platteville. And he stayed in that Wisconsin area as an assistant coach, and he was under Bo Ryan for many years, 10, 15 years maybe. And he learned under Bo Ryan before he retired. He didn't play in the NBA, and yet he had Wisconsin riding an 8-game win streak through all that controversy about a player leaving his team this year. That just shows how good of a coach he is. And so that is how I take those examples, like Greg Guard, and I apply them to myself. Okay, I
Yeah.
read, I watch, I learn the game, and I try to teach these kids the best way I can. And that goes from terminology. Okay, terminology. Yeah, you know a pick and roll. All right, but what about the slip? Well, what's the slip? Well, let me show you. I know you've heard of the pick and pop and the pick and roll. Well, let's show you what a slip is. All right.
Oh, no one knows that
Yeah,
anymore.
no.
It's like, oh my
Yes.
gosh.
And a
That's
team that really does a great job with slips is Purdue. I was
yeah.
watching Purdue play Tennessee and Virginia. Yes, Virginia last year. Yeah, it was last year. And I actually watched some highlights. I actually get on YouTube and I watch highlights. I watch Matt Painter's. I watch a lot of college games just to kind of see what do they do. What are things that I could implement in my program? And so he has a lot of plays where he sets double stagger screens. And one of those players that are setting those screens is a post player, and that post player is always open on the slip. And Carson Edwards would hit him 2 or 3 times a game. And the slip is always there, especially at the middle school level. Now where I'm at right now, over at South, some players transferred. Some players transferred when I came in, a couple of eighth graders, and I had about 5 or 6 eighth graders to work with and a lot of seventh graders. So I had a very young team at the middle school level for eighth grade wise. And so all I asked for them was hard work, determination, and pay attention. Okay? Pay
Man,
attention. I don't
yeah.
have the best skill developed eighth grade team. I didn't. I knew we couldn't shoot very well. I had maybe one good shooter at the eighth grade level, maybe. And so now I had to think, what type of offense can I apply to these guys? Well, I have 2 or 3 that are good slashers. All right, so let's go dribble drive. All right, let's try to implement some UK offense, some Calipari offense. And, I try to pick an offense that best fits my team. And so I don't try to teach them what I want them to know. I try to teach them what I think is best for the team. And so a lot of horn sets. I run a lot of horn sets from Tom Izzo.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have one of his plays, one of my go-to. If I need a bucket, it's there. And it took me probably 2 weeks for the team to actually hit the open man. It took a while. And so we watched film. I actually downloaded the Band app, and I would post the film on there. And I would make comments.
Me too.
Yep.
It's the easiest way to do it.
It really is. The Band app is so easy. The only time I had trouble was with downloading the videos of the film because they were so long. And so that did take a while. But I would post a lot of those film on Band for the kids to see, the team to see, and their parents if they wanted to talk to their kids. Hey, look at this. Okay? And so I did that on Band, and that play, I call it Spartan, obviously, and ironically, Izzo calls it Spartan. And so it's just a little, it's in the horn set, and you pass it to one elbow. I learned this in high school as well, and the point guard screens the opposite elbow, and that guy on the elbow just curls off it, layup. And so after running that a lot, after a couple of weeks, my team missed it so many times, and they would tell me, at halftime, yeah, I know it was there. I just, they just froze. And I get that, first 2 weeks of the season, new coach, new offense, some of these players, this is their third coach in 3 years. And so, it's different. I get that. And so that is something that I've had to face, early on when I started my eighth grade coaching career. Now I did coach 7th and 8th grade. So I had a 7th grade before that. And so, but all I asked for my team was, hey, learn the offense, pay attention, and work hard. And one thing that I always get out of my players, and I even get comments from parents, faculty, friends that didn't expect me to leave this type of impact on my players, but I always get the best out of my players. Okay? You can have the best talented team ever. I don't care. Sure. You can be 38-0 Kentucky, 2015. Sure. But I am not going to trade my team for Kentucky's players, because I think my team can beat that Kentucky team. Okay. And so when you have that belief as a coach, your players feed off that.
It's all
Yes.
trust. They have to trust you. You have to trust
Exactly.
them.
It's all based on
So
trust. And if your players see, hey, my coach believes in me, man, that I hear this a lot too. The sky's the limit. No, it's not. The sky
yeah,
is not the limit. We don't even know where the universe ends. So a lot of times I'm thinking in my head, I want to get to the college level. All right, well, the sky's not the limit. I'm not going to stop at middle school basketball. All right, I'm not trying to jump at different perspectives here. This is just kind of how I view basketball. I'm just kind of throwing everything at you, to be honest. I'm not going in any chronological order.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's just kind of how I see, basketball as a coach. And so, a lot of other things that happened my first year coaching was a lot of logistic stuff, aside from basketball. All right. I had to make sure my players were behaving in class. I had to make sure they weren't in trouble in school. Maybe there'd be times where a parent would call me, questions, especially at that middle school level. Why isn't my son playing? That's a lot of things, that's a lot of questions, not a lot of questions. That is a question that a lot of coaches get asked. Hey, why is my son not playing? And so I got a lot of experience from this last year, just from the logistics side of basketball. Take the X's and O's out. All right. But all the other things, like the parents, ordering uniforms, the shoes, fundraising, making sure that the locker room is clean, just stuff like that. Making sure my kids are behaving. That's a lot of stuff that I had to face this year too. And so my 8th grade team, come Christmas time, I'll be honest with you. You want to know what the record was? I'll tell you. I'm not ashamed. They were 2-12. They were 2-12.
That's exactly how our team was.
Man,
it was rough. And it's like, what do? We can't do anything.
I'm sorry about that. It was rough. And so a lot of our issues, and I can't even count how many times we lost by 5. The number 5. If I could go through the scoring book, I would guarantee you that 65% of the games where we lost, where we should have lost by 20, to be honest, have been by the number 5 points. I will guarantee it. And I hate that number. It made me hate that number. I'm not going to lie. Like, I would look up to the score after the 8th grade game. I won my 7th grade game. Okay. But to me, 7th grade matters. All right. 7th grade matters, but I want to win at the 8th grade level. All right. Yeah, I'm using 7th graders and 8th graders at 8th grade. I got a young team, but to me, I'm thinking in my head, I should still be winning. I'm glad I'm competing, but we got to find a way to win. And so a lot of our biggest deal was breaking the press. There was a lot of teams, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant, all right, but I hate when teams press me 2-2-1. I hate it because to me, I look at the 2-2-1 as this should be cake. But when I'm not able to break it because my players don't follow the press breaker, they let a 2-2-1 pressure them somehow, some way. Oh man, there's a guy 5 feet from me. Let's throw it over there. Intercepted layup. And so I hate when teams press me 2-2-1 because I know I should be breaking it. I know I should be breaking it. We practice it. But when it happens in the game, practice is different. Everybody knows that. When you practice plays and scenarios, it's different than the actual game. And so now when it comes to the game, can we run our stuff right? Well, it took us till that 2-12 mark to run our stuff right. And since then, a lot of teams were not able to press us. And so after that 2-12 mark, it was about Christmas. And after Christmas, it was, I think, early January, we won 9 of our last 11 games. And we finally went on a roll. And I was honestly really proud. Not only was I getting that hard work and hustle, but they finally understood. I mean, it took them a while. It took them a while, but that's okay. That is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Because to me, I preached to them all year long. Yeah, you're 2-12. The record doesn't matter. The record doesn't matter. I said all that matters is districts.
As long
Yep.
as they're improving, that's
Yep.
the
Yep.
step that we're taking
Gets you
to
ready
get
for high
you
school.
to the high school level. And yeah, I mean I see a lot of around like the junior
Mm-hmm.
highs around my area are less devoted towards basketball, but you can, and then there's other high schools like a few miles away from us that are like, okay, like they're pushing out all these like stars, and it's like, okay, where are
Yeah.
they all coming from? But
Huh.
it's really all about developing from you know junior high, like make
Yep.
them good for high school, and then high schools
Yep.
try to get them to college. But a lot of it's get
And
smaller and
that's something
smaller
I
every
try
time.
to tell my eighth graders. Okay, this year, and I think this is why we kind of went on that run that we had. We ended up upsetting. I'm not gonna lie. There was one game we won by 20. I don't know how against a district team. And then they're at home. I don't know how it happened, but it did. I'm glad it did. It was amazing. It was an amazing time. But our
Yeah,
eighth grade night, we were playing a very good team, very well balanced team, and we were down 15. No, no, not 15. 10, 10, 10 with 2 minutes left. The game has been 5 to 7 points the whole way there, and I call a timeout, 2 minutes, and I know it's eighth grade night, and I just tell my players, look, this is your last home game, okay? And I had 4 8th graders in and 1 7th grader, and I told those 8th graders, I said, listen, this is your last home game, playing together as a team. And I looked at the 7th graders on the bench. This is the last time this team right here, this exact team, will play a home game in this gym. I get that it's eighth grade. This isn't high school. Cool. But this is the last time ever. You will not have no redos, no go back. I wish I could have done this in the game. I wish I could have done this. What if this happened? You know, and ever since we
yeah,
came out of that huddle, I said, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in our 1-2-2. We're going to our 1-2-2 mad dog press. And I told one of my most athletic guys that was on the ball, I said, I want you on the ball. I want your hands in his face. Don't extend your arm over the line, but I want your hands up, and let's try to force some turnovers. We forced some turnovers. We made layups. I don't know. I went back and watched the film, and we made some sort of crap three that shouldn't have went in, but it went in. All right, it went in. Cool, awesome. And so and then we went to double overtime, and we won by 3 or 4 points. And it wouldn't have been that if we
yeah.
didn't shoot. You're going to be amazed by this stat right here. You ready for this?
Yeah, shoot.
21 of 43 from the free throw line.
Oh,
Oh,
I've had
really?
worse. That's crazy.
43
Yeah,
free throws in a game?
yeah. It's
Now, when you
insane.
coach, now watch this. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Now, when you coach,
All right.
what type of stats do you keep up with? Now, are you middle school or high school?
So I am
Okay,
high
awesome,
school
awesome.
JV. So basically, what stats I want to keep track of, um, steals and assists. Eh, I could do without those, but
Yeah.
I'll keep track of them. Like I'll have someone keep track of them. Um, but the main thing for me is rebounds and the opposing
Okay.
offensive
Okay.
boards that you give up. I keep track of those. And that's just to show them, look how many
Mm-hmm.
second chance opportunities you give them, and look how many second chance. And I'll also say, okay, like they get the rebound, they go up and they score.
You
So
keep track of those
whatever they
points.
scored, I
Mm-hmm.
kind of I keep track of those points too. So I'm like, okay, they scored 15 points off of second chance. So you gotta box out. You gotta put an
Mm-hmm.
arm in their chest and box them out. And but I do keep track of like the score, the free throws, and I try to at the end of the season,
Yep.
put them all,
And see
compile
what he
them
did
all
overall.
together and make them into,
Nice.
yeah.
That's how I normally do with my middle school team. I actually have a Google Doc. One of the parents, said, "Hey, I'll make a Google Doc for you." And all he did was he just asked me, "Just tell me what stats you want me to keep track of." And I said rebounds, and I said turnovers. I said turnovers, and I said
Yeah.
when we make a turnover, just mark the turnover and that individual, whoever made the turnover. I don't want, because then I can count the team after the game. I just want to know who made the turnover, because the most, especially with no shot clock, turnovers are to me it's the most important stat for me. Okay, I never have a lot of trouble with rebounding, but rebounding is number 2 for me. Number 1 would be my turnovers. And so the reason why I want to know who made the turnover, and my players hate me for this. They know when I walk out there with that stat book, I'm looking at the turnovers. And so my 7th grade team, I did this for 7th and 8th grade. My 7th grade team, beginning of the season, after the first couple games, they averaged about 16 turnovers per game. My 8th grade team, the number was about 25 turnovers a game. It was bad.
Oh my gosh. Bad. I had 35 one game.
I had a couple of 30s.
I was
I know what that feels like.
And you know what we did? Because I'm not the head coach, but I'm like
and you're an assistant, so I'm assuming you do a lot of the stats, right?
But I'm an assistant, so I do a lot of the stats, or I'll like check the stats, like I'll pull the manager over and I'll look at the stat, and then I'll just give it back to him, and then like, okay, he has like 12 turnovers.
Yep.
Need to get him out of the game. But so I do a lot of that, where I check the stat, make sure, I don't make any judgment call on pulling anyone out. I just, I'll say, Coach, this is
you'll make the
what the stats say. I don't know.
Yeah. So you're the the go-to, I guess you can say. So for me, as a head coach for the middle school team, I like to have a coach that my go-to guy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what do you think about this? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing?
Yeah.
Okay. Or some guy or a coach that'll make the suggestions for me or have suggestions. And so I feel like that is a critical, to me, a critical position to have on a team. I didn't have that luxury as an 8th grade coach. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't have that luxury. And so that was something I kind of had to figure out. But when I went to my turnovers, I would make my players run a suicide for every turnover.
Yeah, I'd do lines, because that would be so, like, they'd go full length, and then it's like, okay, it's lines. And then we had so many troublemakers last year that I was just like, okay, we could do lines every practice. Both, like outside of basketball and inside. I was like, oh my gosh, makes you man. So it's relatively big. It's not the big. It's probably like 2,500 kids.
To me, that is big.
Yeah. So they one of the drills that we worked on for turnovers was this drill. It's like, he called it lines in the cage. So you put 4 people in the middle of the court. So 4 people,
I think I know what you're talking
volleyball line, if you have those. Yeah. And then he did it with 4 people, but you could do it with 5. So you'll have 5 people you gotta help. You gotta trap the ball, and so you make them put as much pressure, and that helped us with the turnovers. It kind of helped us like get the turnovers down.
I run that.
So that's what I was.
I call it pressure drill, and I do it with 4 on the volleyball box, and they have to trap no matter what. And if they
Yeah.
don't trap, then the team that doesn't trap, they just lose. And so the losing team, it depends on what day it is. Is it good practice or bad practice? We'll just see what happens. If it's a bad practice,
Yeah.
my middle schoolers hate wall sits. And so I make them do wall sits. And then, so they'll do wall sits. And then they'll come back. I have a coach over there. They'll time them for a minute or 2 minutes, however long it is. And so that's honestly, that helped us with press. I didn't do pressure drill until about the third week into the season. I was trying to think, hey, what do I want? What kind of drills do I want to do? What drills can I do to help us limit turnovers for 8th grade? My 7th grade wasn't a big issue, to be honest. They ended the year with about 12 turnovers per game, and so on average. And so I thought that was pretty dang good. The best they did was 7 in one game.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And so that helped my 8th grade out a lot, that pressure drill. And so that's when we started breaking that, press. When teams try to press us, man-to-man, 2-2-1. I rarely got pressed 1-2-2. It happened twice. And the first game of the year with my 8th grade team, that's where we had 25 turnovers in the first game. And we lost by a lot. That team was way athletic. First game of the year, new coach, nervous. And I'm not going to lie, they were pretty big. And so they did a 1-2-2 full court on us, and we couldn't get past half court. We lost by 25, but luckily we played them again at our place. And I'm telling you right now, the halftime score was 15-9. The second time we played, it was 15-9. We missed a lot of layups, and but the matter of the fact is we weren't down 20 at halftime, and we ended up losing by 13 points. They broke away in the fourth quarter, and but no, I think it was like 17 points, actually. Yeah, it's 17 points. They broke away in the fourth quarter. And but, as a matter of the fact is they didn't press us anymore. They tried to run that 1-2-2 that they did the first time we played them. I was ready for it. That's part of coaching. You do the scout. I make the scouting reports. Once I played every team the first time, that second part, to me, and I told the team this, the second time we were to play these teams, the preparation, that is on me, the coaching. Okay. I feel like in order for us to win, not only do you guys have to get better, but I have to do my part as the coach and prep. How are we to make the game plan? How are we going to play this team? And so I pressed them back. I pressed them 1-2-2. I mixed it up a lot. My 7th and 8th grade teams, both of them, they know 3-2, but I don't run a regular 3-2. I run a lot of run and jump trap corners 3-2. It's a different variant. A lot of teams say, "Oh, it's a 1-2-2." No, it's not. It's a 32. Quit calling it 1-2-2. The guy isn't all the way up at half court.
It was funny this year. We ran
like
a 1-1-3, and everyone was confused.
Yeah,
and we're like, "Sorry guys,
we're not gonna tell you." I like the 1-1-3. That was something that I watched some high school teams play, and I actually got confused because I went and watched my high school play this year a couple times, and they had one guy pressuring the ball full court, one guy at half court, and they had the other 3 back, all right, set up and looked like a 1-1-3. And so, but when they got back into half court and they got back into that 2-3, I was like, this looks like a 2-3 match, but I'm not quite sure. And so, but also it looks like a 1-1-3, just really full court, just really, really full court. But Marshall County, their high school team ran the 1-1-3. I don't see a lot of teams run that type of defense either. And so that was something I thought about doing for middle school.
No,
a lot of the teams like in our district or the teams that usually they know about my middle school, South. They know about typically what South is known for. But they don't know who I am. And so I shocked a lot of teams by playing a 1-3-1. I had the athletic talent and the quickness to play a 1-3-1. And so I ran a 1-3-1, went 2-2. I never did 2-2-1. I never will, ever. Just know that, never. And I never run 2-3. I'm not a fan of 2-3, except when I ran Kermit Davis's. I never did it in a game, but we practiced it, and it looked really good. I almost used it for districts as like a surprise thing, but I decided not to. It's a 1-1. It's a 1-3-1 that morphs into a 2-3. And so I had that talent to do that, and I wanted to run that zone against teams that can't shoot the ball very well, but also struggle with a little bit of pressure. And so that's another defense that my team knows how to run. 1-2-2, half court of court. It just kind of depends. But I usually play a lot of man. It just depends on who I'm playing. But a 1-1-3 is something that I'd like to run in the future.
So like on the 1-1-3, I would usually have the middle guy just stay middle, and the top guy is just going back and forward. So unless you want to just tag them out, but I feel like if
then you can get away with
fast enough up top, you can. And also we had an injured player that was just trying to get through so we put him just in the middle, and his back was always hurt, so okay, like that's the resting spot
they're pretty tough.
The middle,
pretty tricky as well.
Yeah. So he's probably projected to be
Now, is he on your JV team or your varsity?
Hey, Coach, I hope you enjoyed that part 1 of the podcast, talking with Coach Garrett. In tomorrow's episode, we will be continuing part 2 of the talk with Coach Garrett, and we'll pick up with where he asks me how long I've been coaching, and we'll begin with that tomorrow. See you guys then.